Just like usual, I carried the lunch bag through the company lobby, heading straight for my husband's private elevator. But today, things didn't go as smoothly. A sharp voice sounded behind me. "Excuse me, but our company policy doesn't allow outside visitors. Who are you here to see? Do you have an appointment?" If you listened closely, you could hear a touch of disdain in her voice. I turned around and saw an unfamiliar, pretty face. The young woman wore a professional smile, but there was a clear hint of scorn in her eyes. I wasn't sure where her sense of superiority came from. She was clearly new, a fresh face at reception. No wonder she didn't recognize me. For over 6 months, I'd been bringing lunch to Alex. His stomach wasn't in the best shape, and he'd often skip meals when work got busy. Anyone who'd been at the company long enough knew me. Even though her tone came off as arrogant, I stayed polite and explained, "I'm family, Mr. Alex's family. I'm here to bring him lunch." The receptionist looked unimpressed, raising an eyebrow in disbelief. "Oh really? Are you some kind of 5-star chef? Mr. Alex even turns down food from our company cafeteria, and he's going to eat something you made?" She smirked. "And what kind of family member are you supposed to be? Why not just say you're his babe? I've seen plenty like you at my last job." Apparently, she thought I was just another woman trying to get close to the boss. Well then, I blinked and smiled at her. "Actually, I really am his babe." The moment I said it, the elevator dinged, and my husband stepped out, his usual icy expression firmly in place. Behind him, his assistant looked stressed, trying to brief him. Alex's face was shadowed with a serious expression, his brow furrowed. He looked even more intimidating than usual. The moment our eyes met, though, his coldness vanished. He stepped out of the elevator and walked straight toward me. With each step, a soft warmth spread across his gaze, practically screaming, "Love-struck fool." He stretched an arm around my shoulders and, sounding a bit needy, said, "Babe, you're finally here. I missed you so much." Then he looked curiously at the lunch bag in my hand. "What's for lunch today?" His eyes sparkled with excitement, like a child eagerly waiting for lunchtime at school. The receptionist's eyes practically bulged out. The assistant looked relieved, mouthing to me, "Boss lady, you're my lifesaver." I took my love-struck husband by the hand and led him back to his office for lunch. Just as the elevator doors closed, I heard the receptionist's shocked voice. "Is he under some kind of spell? How on earth did she manage to turn the boss into this?" Good question. To be honest, it has nothing to do with my own abilities. This was pure buff magic. Normally, someone like me, a homebody writer with a pretty face, practically no social life, and a background far from glamorous, wouldn't have a chance to meet someone like Alex in a lifetime. But then a year ago, I discovered that my world operated on a system. Shouldn't the system be working for the heroine? What did it have to do with me? Clearly something went wrong. Even with its robotic voice, I could tell the system sounded frustrated. What the heck? How did I glitch out like this? I stared blankly at the empty white wall in front of me. "Are you expecting me to answer that?" The system fell silent. After a long pause, it sighed, "Fine. Can't let this be a wasted trip. Even though you're not meant to be the heroine, at least I can give you a taste. So what kind of skill do you want? Wasn't this just like having a gift-wrapped miracle dropped into my lap?" The system then displayed 3 options. A. The CEO falls for me. B. Irresistible charmer. C. Genius baby at age 3.5. Was this system secretly into romance novels? The first 2 choices didn't do much for me. And the third? It took my breath away. Option 3 was out of the question right away. Genius or not, future kids should have their own blessings while I enjoy mine. Besides, I'm still single. So I wasn't about to wake up one day to the sudden reality of motherhood. Considering my job as a writer and my current creative block, I chose option 1 without hesitation. After all, writing comes from experience, right? I figured this would be the perfect chance to see what dating a CEO was really like. What I didn't expect was for the system to work so effectively. It set me up with a top-tier guy right from the start. And the way we met, it was straight out of a romance story. Normally, I'm as healthy as a horse, but that time, I somehow caught a cold just from taking a shower. While I was at the hospital getting in 4 drip, I happened to help an elderly lady in the next bed pick up the oranges that had scattered around her. And then Alex appeared at the door. The rays of the setting sun streamed through the window, casting a warm glow over my hair. The soft light made my profile look calm and serene. The elderly lady sat propped up on her bed, gazing at me with a look of gratitude and warmth. Everything felt idyllic, like a scene from a painting. When she saw her grandson, she snatched his phone, quickly added my contact info, and effortlessly set us up. According to Alex, it was love at first sight for him. For me, falling for someone like Alex was almost inevitable. We fell in love fast, and walked down the aisle even faster. Time has flown by, and now we're approaching our first anniversary. At work, he's demanding and relentless. But with me, he's soft and tender, like a devoted husband who treasures every moment with me. Right now, my sweet little husband is putting on the cutest act, pleading with me to let him skip the tofu. Babe, tofu just has no flavor. Can I just stick with the fish soup? I swear it's not, because I don't respect your hard work. But if it bothers you, I'll even light a couple of incense sticks at home to honor the tofu. That adorable look of his practically melted my heart. Just as I was about to tease him, there was a knock on the door. Alex scowled and called out, "Come in." It was the manager of the company's latest project. Nervously, he came in to give his report. My husband's face was already darkening, and the manager looked tense, clearly dreading this. Alex pinched the bridge of his nose, sounding irritated. Does this company have an overtime tradition I'm unaware of? What report needs to be given during lunch? Translation: Can't you see I'm having a sweet lunch with my babe? The project manager looked put out. Boss, you were the one who said I couldn't eat until I'd submitted the new proposal. I patted Alex's shoulder reassuringly. Work comes first. I need to organize my notes anyway. I moved over to the side desk, logging into Alex's computer with ease. Alex instantly dropped his love-struck act, leaning back in his chair with one arm resting lazily on the armrest. With a casual wave of his long fingers, he said, "Tell me about your new proposal." It was a complete transformation. Even after all this time, I was always a little dazzled by his sudden shift in demeanor. I also opened the latest draft of my novel on my laptop, titled Man, You've Got Two Faces. The book's been a huge hit. As the title suggests, it's based on Alex, and most of the stories are things that actually happen between us. Maybe because it's heartfelt, readers find it especially relatable, though it's still being serialized. It's already incredibly popular, and close to topping the site's romance charts. This book has taken my writing career to new heights. I mean, with material like this at my fingertips every day, it's hard not to spin something interesting out of it. Meanwhile, my husband had fully transitioned back into CEO mode, strictly and sharply criticizing the new proposal. His cold, chiseled profile was like the tip of an iceberg, enough to make anyone shiver just looking at him. The project manager listened, humbled, and finally nodded, resigned. Understood, boss. I'll hold a team meeting and make revisions. Once the manager left, the office returned to its usual calm. Alex's expression softened again, as he gazed at me with a warm smile. Then he obediently went back to eating. Not even half a minute later, he looked up with a hint of a pout. Babe, the fish soup's gone cold. Alex took me to a party. In the capital's elite circles, the wealthy young men meet up for some fun every now and then. A few of them are notorious partiers. Since they're all busy during the day, these gatherings are usually held in nightclubs. Alex was never one for this kind of nightlife, and after we got married, he barely went at all. But since he'd been missing for so long, his friends had joked in the group chat, if he doesn't show up tonight, we're going to his place and dragging him out. So with no way out, Alex brought me along. As he put it, with my babe here, no one else can try anything. We wove through the smoky, crowded dance floor until he led me up to the 5th floor. This place was exclusive, only members could enter, and the higher the floor, the more prestigious the membership level. Naturally, 5th floor membership was nearly impossible to get. Inside the private room, a group was already partying hard. A few were gathered around a table, while others were lounging with their dates in the corner. When Alex and I entered, everyone paused to look at us. Well, if it isn't Mr. Alex himself, finally gracing us with his presence. One guy spoke up, and his date shot me a sly look. adding with a smirk. No wonder Mr. Alex has been MIA, he's got such a gorgeous beauty by his side. Looks like she's got him completely wrapped around her finger. It sounded like a compliment, but the implication was clear. I didn't belong at their level. What she didn't know was that I was Alex's legally wedded babe. Sure enough, everyone's expression changed slightly. Most people in this circle knew Alex as a famously devoted husband. The guy next to her frowned and snapped, "You have no idea what you're talking about. She's nothing like you, so drop the socialite act." Then he glanced over at Alex, and seeing him still holding my hand, visibly relaxed. The woman's eyes reddened from the scolding, and her attitude softened as she stammered awkwardly. "Sorry for that. Nice to meet you." Sensing the tension, others quickly stepped in to ease the mood. "Come on in, sit down. Join us for some pool. It's been a while. You don't mind if Alex has a drink, right?" Not wanting to cause a scene, I nudged Alex. "Don't worry. If you get drunk, I'll just take you home." Alex went over to the pool table. He loosened his tie and unbuttoned his top 2 buttons. His natural elegance and aloofness giving way to a wilder energy. Under the dim lights, he looked like a predator ready to pounce, completely in his element. Alex had that rare ability to fit into any scene seamlessly. After pool, everyone gathered around the bar, toasting and catching up, eventually drinking until they were all wasted. Even with his impressive tolerance, Alex now looked decidedly tipsy. Even though Alex had a remarkable tolerance for alcohol, he was now a bit tipsy, his eyes slightly glazed over. I leaned down and gently pinched his cheek. "Alex, can we go home?" He was great when it came to drinking. Even when he was tipsy, he never made a scene. He just gazed at me quietly, holding my hand naturally. The smell of alcohol surrounded me, but wasn't unpleasant. "Baby, I really like you." His sudden confession left me feeling dizzy. It wasn't until we reached the car that I realized I hadn't grabbed the keys. Alex, feeling the effects of the alcohol, looked at me with a dazed expression. He seemed a bit out of it but sincere. Leaning against a streetlight, his figure stretched into the distance. The night was deep, and the dew was heavy. I wrapped my coat around him. "I'm going upstairs to get the car keys. Wait for me here and don't go anywhere, okay?" He nodded seriously. "I'll listen to you, baby." But when I finally got the keys and came back downstairs, Alex was nowhere to be found. Did he drink too much and catch a cab home? Or had someone taken him away? A wave of panic washed over me, and I took out my phone to call Alex. Just then he appeared, walking out of the luxury store nearby. Even with the unmistakable signs of drunkenness on his face, he walked steadily. He held an elegantly packaged shopping bag in his hand. My anxious expression didn't fade as Alex paused, tilting his head to look at me. "What's wrong, baby?" I was relieved in a way. "Didn't we agree not to run off?" Alex shook his head innocently, waving the shopping bag. "I didn't run off. I went to buy you a bag." He took a few steps forward and hugged me tightly, like an innocent little creature, burying his head in my neck, his warm breath brushing against me, his voice low and slightly muffled from the drink. "I won a billiards game, so I wanted to buy my baby a bag. What do you think of the new bag?" When one is deeply loved, it's easy to feel a bit vulnerable. I accepted the situation with a sense of cautious optimism, and I truly felt cherished. What he was trying to make up for wasn't just my unfulfilled childhood, but also my dull, lackluster youth. Feeling a wave of emotion, I said, "Alex, you're so good to me." Alex held me even tighter. Perhaps the aftereffects of the strong alcohol were kicking in. His words began to slur a bit. The night was thick, the streetlights soft, and the stars shone brightly. Whispers of love in this slightly slurred tone felt just right. He said, "Baby, I really love you. From the moment I saw you, I felt an inexplicable spark. In the past 20+ years, no one has made me feel this way except you. I thought I loved you back then, but every day after our wedding, I find myself loving you more." Such a firm declaration of love, so straightforward, made me feel as if I were drowning in bliss, lost in a dream. Even though I was happy, I felt an unexplainable anxiety. Maybe it was guilt. His love for me had always been a part of the system's arrangement, not his true intention. Yet I was shamelessly enjoying this exceptional love. After a busy few days dealing with work and the effects of alcohol, Alex fell asleep as soon as he hit the pillow at home. I sat on the edge of the bed, admiring his calm and beautiful sleeping face. The clock ticked, the hands pointing to midnight. Just as I was about to get up and wash up, the familiar sound of the system echoed in my ears. System repair has reached 99%. Please be informed. My heart raced as I stood up from the bed. What does that mean? The system, sounding almost human, kindly warned me. After the system repair, you will no longer have any buffs. I'll be leaving you in a few days, so I'm giving you a heads up to prepare for what comes next. Suddenly, I understood where my anxiety was coming from. Curiosity can be a dangerous thing. Just as you reach the peak of happiness, you're about to fall hard from it. The system really knew how to time things, choosing midnight. What was this, Cinderella? I took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. But my voice trembled. Will he forget me? The system clicked its tongue in annoyance. This isn't a cliché novel. There's no amnesia plot. He won't forget you, but he will revert to his original personality. He won't forget the little moments you shared, but whether the real him loves you is uncertain. I hope you're mentally prepared. The real him detached, cold, and proud. That version of him probably wouldn't have any connection with me. Right? The system was about to reset, and it seemed my year-long beautiful dream was about to shatter. Looking back at Alex's face, my heart sank. He was so close, yet I felt so distant. It was truly hard to let go. It seemed he sensed my emotions. He frowned in discomfort as he slept. I leaned down and gently tapped his forehead, smoothing out the crease. Just as I withdrew my hand, Alex suddenly opened his eyes, gripping my hand tightly and murmuring, "Baby, don't leave me. I won't go. Baby, you're so good." The system's voice still echoed in my ears. My eyes moistened, and I tried to speak as calmly as I could. "Alex, have you been busy lately?" He was fighting off sleep, his beautiful eyes half open yet responding seriously to my question. "It's calmed down for now. Just the new product launch left. You should come with me. My baby brings good luck. And we can cut the ribbon together. Can you take a break from the company for the next couple of days? Just stay home with me, do nothing. I just want to lean against your leg and write my novel." Without hesitation, he leaned his face against my hand. "Don't worry, baby. I'll arrange it for tomorrow." The warmth flowed through my skin. "Okay." Then his struggling eyes finally relaxed and closed, his breathing steady once more. I bit my lower lip, trying not to cry. Let me be the greediest person in the world, wanting to indulge a little longer in the warmth he gave me. The promise he made while half asleep still lingered in his heart. The next morning, I struggled to open my eyes, and Alex had already taken care of everything for the company. I lazily sat up, and Alex didn't mind my slightly puffy, bare-faced morning look. He gently picked me up from the bed and coaxed me like a child, saying, "Sweetheart, hurry and wash up. The maid has prepared breakfast. I've arranged work for the next 3 days, so you can comfortably lean on me while you write." For the next 3 days, I felt utterly inseparable from Alex. On the third night, in the living room, the television was playing the news that I had casually turned on, and outside, the rain was gently falling, creating a warm atmosphere indoors. I leaned against Alex and typed the final word. Finished. This novel had reached a temporary conclusion. In the comments section, fans who were following the story left comments below. "I can't bear to part with this novel by the author. And I can't bear to part with the male protagonist. What a treasure the male lead is. He has to be forever happy with the female lead in the story. This is my favorite book among all the author's works. The author must be a girl who is loved in real life. Her writing is so touching and relatable. Her boyfriend must really love her." The last comment struck a chord with me, and I happily replied, "Yes, we love each other very much." A dissatisfied murmur came from the man beside me. "What boyfriend?" "It's husband." I turned my head and saw his serious expression. I couldn't help but laugh. "Are you really being so serious about wordplay?" Alex seemed genuinely aggrieved. "What do you mean I'm nitpicking? You're a novelist. Shouldn't you care more about these details than I do? Besides, this concerns my legal identity." I playfully pinched his face, and under his intense gaze, I hesitantly added to my reply, "The model isn't my boyfriend. It's my husband." Only then did he stand up contentedly. Sweetheart, you've worked hard writing. I'll go cut some fruit for you. I looked at the busy figure of the man and felt that this kind of life was never enough. However, what was meant to happen still came. The system's notification sound rang out mercilessly again. System bug has been fixed. Starting tomorrow, the host will no longer enjoy any privileges. I turned around in panic, realizing that this notification was only for me. Alex was focused on preparing the fruit platter. The system also noticed my anxiety and, after its serious announcement, changed its tone. Don't worry, he can't hear anything. Only the host can hear my conversation. I'm here to specifically remind you to cherish your last night with buff bonuses, because after tomorrow, I won't have anything to do with you anymore. Good luck. The fake can never be real. My experience card as the female lead was about to expire. Alex approached me with a fruit plate, arranging just 2 strawberries into a heart shape. Tears uncontrollably welled up in my eyes. Alex was about to return to his true self. The real him probably wouldn't like me. His chaotic life, which had been arranged for him, should return to normal, and my dream should come to an end. Tears streamed down my face. Alex set the fruit plate down and hurried over to me. Sweetheart, why are you crying? I hastily looked down to wipe my tears, my voice shaky as I pointed at the news on TV. This news is too touching. I'm easily moved to tears. My husband gently cupped my face with his hands, softly kissing away the tears from my eyes. Little crybaby, why are you so emotional? A sense of reluctance spread and intertwined in my heart like vines. I could hardly breathe. I looked at his concerned and affectionate face and hoarsely asked Alex, have you heard the story of Cinderella? Alex raised an eyebrow. Do you want me to tell you the story of Cinderella? No. I mean, if I were like Cinderella and lost my crystal shoe at midnight, would you still love me? I held on to a glimmer of hope. What if the real Alex liked me too? Perhaps it started as something fake, but our more than a year of contact felt real. Alex seemed startled by my serious and stubborn demeanor. He didn't react at first, only considering my words with a serious expression. Then he mirrored my usual gesture, gently brushing his finger across my tightly furrowed brow. Sweetheart, I don't understand why you're feeling so insecure. Did I do something wrong? But to get back to the point, I chose to love you from the very beginning. I enjoy having you by my side, shining and beautiful. So how could I leave you just because you're feeling down? What if one day, you only want to push me away? Alex's gaze softened. Sweetheart, you can keep confirming with me. I love you very much, and I can't live without you. The next morning, the first rays of sunlight streamed in, and Alex's alarm rang at the usual time. I opened my eyes sleepily, still not fully awake, instinctively whining as I snuggled closer to him. In a sweet, soft voice I said, Alex. However, the moment my arm rested on him, he pushed me away. Alex suddenly sat up straight, looking down at me with a hint of coldness. His brow furrowed in confusion, and his stiff posture showed his wariness. All my sleepiness vanished in an instant. Yes, the system was fixed. My beautiful dream was over. Perhaps my unintentional expression of hurt was too evident, and Alex, being a gentleman, awkwardly said, sorry. I just suddenly feel a bit unaccustomed. This comfort felt more like a stab in the back. I tightened my grip on the blanket, trying to remain calm and not show any worthless emotions. Is it that you're suddenly unaccustomed to my presence? This question was not easy to answer. Alex fell silent. This silence pierced my heart like a knife. His silence was equivalent to acquiescence, especially the way he looked at me, devoid of any warmth, as if I were just another face he saw every day, no longer a unique presence in his eyes. Just yesterday, he had held me and gazed at me affectionately. The contrast was too stark overnight. I felt like I was carrying a heavy burden in my heart. Perhaps our awkward silence was truly uncomfortable, especially since we were both sitting naked on the bed. Alex silently dressed and went for a morning run. He didn't return, probably not wanting to face me, and went straight to the company. Maybe now Alex was extremely confused. How could he wake up from a sleep and feel nothing for the wife beside him? What had he initially liked about her? Was that clingy love-struck person truly himself? But he probably would never understand. I was giving him back his freedom. Thinking this, I decided to pack my clothes and belongings and prepare to move out of the villa, to avoid having Alex throw a divorce agreement in my face later. I couldn't accept that. I wanted to take the wedding ring that I had cherished on my nightstand as a final memory of this marriage. Because it was quite valuable, I hadn't worn it many times. But my attention was drawn to a note on the nightstand. It was written by Alex while I was asleep last night. "Sweetheart, please stay by my side. Don't overthink it. The one who can't live without you is always me." I clutched the note tightly and closed the suitcase on the floor. I decided not to leave. Maybe I should just hold on a bit longer. What if he just needed time to adjust? Not being used to it doesn't mean he doesn't have feelings for me. As long as he doesn't dislike my presence, what's wrong with me trying to win him back? After all, this year of marriage has been real. After putting everything back in its place, I gave myself a dose of motivational pep talk, then eagerly rushed to the kitchen to prepare a loving lunch for my husband. He had been staying home with me for the past few days, and I knew his work must have piled up. Given his workaholic nature, it would be a miracle if he even had time to drink some water, let alone eat. At lunchtime, I headed to his office as usual. This time, the receptionist didn't stop me. Instead, she respectfully greeted me with a sweet smile, which stayed on her face until the elevator doors closed. I knew this was all thanks to my husband. After the last incident, he had quickly sent out a notice to ensure that the new employees remembered the boss's wife's face as soon as possible. It was already lunchtime, but I could see him diligently working through the translucent office glass. His assistant was also busy sorting through a mountain of documents. The coffee in the cup had long gone cold. As usual, I planned to quietly walk in, find a corner, and write while waiting for him to finish up. However, just as I pushed the door open and took a step inside, his deep, displeased voice stopped me. "Don't you know the company rules? Don't you knock?" He didn't lift his head, completely focused on his work, but still managed to notice the commotion outside. I tightened my grip on the lunchbox and replied, "It's me." Finally, he shifted his gaze from the documents to me, but his expression lacked that bright surprise from before. His brow furrowed slightly. "What are you doing here?" The assistant, as usual, started to leave. "Then boss, you eat first. I'll come back later." Alex placed his pen on the desk with a casual yet firm gesture, his eyes cold and his lips pressed tight, clearly annoyed. "You can finish this. Do you really need to take a break for such a small task?" The assistant had been with Alex for many years, so their relationship was not a typical boss-employee one. He responded with a hurt tone. "Didn't you always complain that I was in your way and wanted me to leave quickly? Who was the one who said not to disturb your world of two?" The corner of Alex's lips twitched slightly. He clearly remembered saying this, but he couldn't recall what he had been thinking at the time. He cleared his throat and finally looked at me again. "I don't have an appetite right now, just set it aside." He had reverted to his usual self, mechanically focused on his work, with nothing else in his eyes. I didn't want to disturb him or make things awkward. After placing the lunchbox aside, I couldn't help but ask before leaving, "Alex, you will eat, right?" Alex paused for a moment and finally replied, "Mm." As soon as the office door closed, I heard the assistant incredulously ask, "Boss, did you have an argument with the boss's wife?" Lovers always find a way to reconcile after a fight. Sadly, we weren't even fighting. For the next few days, I kept bringing meals to Alex, but I no longer had the courage to walk into his office as I used to. Instead, I either waited for him outside or left his food at the front desk. Eventually, he told me not to bother bringing him meals anymore. "It's too much trouble. Just focus on what you enjoy. The company has a cafeteria." What sounded like a kind suggestion was actually a way of pushing me away. The company was gearing up to launch its new quarterly products, and Alex was especially focused. He worked tirelessly, hardly ever coming home. He practically lived at the office. Though he politely informed me via message, we both knew the truth. The office was just a 10-minute drive from home. It wasn't a life or death situation. No matter how busy he was, it shouldn't come to this. During the last product launch, Alex had been even busier, yet he still came home at dawn. He would tiptoe around, trying not to wake me. Then he would climb into bed carefully, wrapping his arms around me. And he said, I am recharging. Baby, when you hug me, I feel energized all day. Now, the boss's wife no longer brought him meals. And the boss had spent several days living at the office. Rumors about us had already spread wildly around the company. Alex suddenly grew distant towards me. To outsiders, it might seem like he had lost interest or fallen out of love. But I knew the truth. Perhaps the real him never really liked me. That night, I sat in silence until dawn. With the balcony window left open, the chilly morning air cut through me. Strangely enough, in that moment, I suddenly felt a sense of clarity. I wanted to get back to my own life and return Alex to his. It was then that Alex came home. After days of hectic work, he probably pulled an all-nighter, with dark circles under his eyes. Yet he didn't appear defeated at all. If anything, I looked more disheveled than he did. He probably didn't expect to find me sitting in the living room so early. Alex paused, greeting me with an awkward politeness. Good morning, I'm home to grab some documents. With that, he walked past me toward his study. Some things don't require much preparation. They just need a moment of inspiration. I knew I wasn't someone who could easily let go. If certain things weren't said for a few days, it might take forever to muster the courage to say them again. With this thought in mind, I clenched my fists and stood up. Alex, are you busy? Gathering my courage, I said, can you spare 10 minutes? We need to talk. Immediately, Alex pulled out his phone to arrange for the driver and assistant, generously offering me half an hour. I couldn't help but smile bitterly inside. He used to spend 3 whole days just sitting around with me. And now, even half an hour felt like a luxury. I blinked to clear the mist in my eyes. Looking at him, I tried to remain calm. Let's get a divorce. Can you check if you're free tomorrow? We can handle the paperwork. Alex's finger twitched slightly. He didn't respond right away. Just stared at me seriously. His calm gaze seemed to pierce through me, as if trying to figure out if this was a manipulation on my part. I continued, I'm serious. You don't need to doubt my intentions. What do you think? I don't have time. Just as I was halfway through my words, Alex finally spoke up. I have a business trip today and tomorrow. I quickly replied, what about the day after tomorrow? The day after tomorrow, I'll be inspecting the branch office. The day after that works too. I have a company-wide meeting. If it weren't for Alex's calm expression, I might have foolishly thought he was reluctant to let me go. I took a deep breath and continued to compromise. What time will you be done with the meeting? Michelle. Alex said my name with seriousness, looking intently at me, his tone steady, more like he was addressing a formal matter. I'll be busy with the new quarterly products for a while, so I won't have much time. Have you really been so busy that you can't even spare a moment for a divorce? I expected him to be heartless, but I never thought he could be this cold. I bit my lip, determined not to show any sign of lingering feelings. It's fine. Just reach out whenever you have time. I have a pretty flexible schedule. You can even have a lawyer prepare the divorce papers, and I'll just sign them. At that moment, Alex's phone pinged with a voice message from his assistant. Boss, if you don't leave soon, you'll miss your flight. Both of us froze. Even with his usual stoic expression, it was hard not to see the embarrassment in his eyes. Trying to ease the tension, I waved my hand casually. You should go back to work. I'll be moving out tonight, so you won't have to awkwardly hide in the office anymore. Make sure you eat properly. Stomach problems aren't fun. Mr. Alex, I wish you all the best moving forward. By the end, my voice had a slight tremor. Alex's expression showed a mix of conflict and complexity. I didn't have the energy to ponder what he was thinking anymore. Looking down, I let my hair fall over my reddened eyes and pushed him away. Just go, or you'll really miss your flight. Finally, I heard his footsteps as he left. I only dared to catch a glimpse of his departing figure. As he reached the entrance, Alex glanced back. Actually, it's fine for you to stay here. This is your home. We can discuss everything else in detail when I return from my trip. Wealthy people are so generous when they break up. A villa in the city center just like that, he said I could have it. But this house is filled with memories of our time together. How am I supposed to face that in the future? I needed to move out, and it couldn't wait. I didn't have much to take with me. After a year of marriage, I only had 2 suitcases. I left behind all the expensive jewelry and luxury items he had gifted me, taking only the bag he drunkenly bought me once. As I looked at the now empty closet, stripped of all my belongings, I crouched down and cried for half an hour, letting all my emotions flow. It felt like a weight had been lifted from my heart. With puffy, swollen eyes, I struggled to drag my 2 suitcases out when I ran into the maid, who was arriving for work. She looked at me in shock, eyes wide in disbelief. "Ma'am, what happened? Did you and Mr. Alex have a fight? Are you leaving right now?" I shook my head. "No, we're getting a divorce." "What?" Her voice startled the birds in the trees. It made sense that she reacted so strongly. In her mind, Alex and I had never argued. We were always the perfect couple. Now, after just a 2-week leave to care for her sick grandson, she returned to find our relationship had changed so drastically it was shocking for anyone. I didn't want to explain further, so I tried to maintain a casual facade as I said goodbye. "Thank you for taking care of me over the past year. If fate allows, we'll meet again. And please keep an eye on him. He often forgets to eat because of his stomach issues." Fearing that tears would spill at any moment, I hurriedly dragged my suitcase and left. Behind me, I heard her murmuring, "What a lovely girl. How could she still decide to divorce him after loving him so much?" They say when love life fails, work life flourishes. The day after I moved out of the villa, I got an invitation from my editor. From her enthusiastic voice message, I could practically picture her excited face. "Hey darling, your last book was such a hit that you've become a top author, and even made it to the website's trending list. The site is having a 10-year anniversary celebration, and has invited you. Plus, there's a Most Popular Author Award. While there are several nominees based on your sales and clicks, you're pretty much a shoo-in." What amazing news! Just a moment ago, I was about to cry myself to sleep, trying to ease my heartache. Now I wiped my tears and leapt out of bed. I carefully reviewed the invitation details, which were for 3 days later. After years of writing, it was finally my turn to shine. For the next few days, I kept myself busy. In addition to shopping for outfits for the event, I dedicated all my time to drafting the outline for my new novel. After what happened, I could no longer believe in the cliché of a dominant CEO falling for me. I had matured as an author. In my next book, I would write about a strong, ambitious female lead dominating her career and climbing the corporate ladder. Men would simply be stepping stones along my journey. Before I knew it, the day arrived, and I dragged my suitcase to the airport. But it felt like fate wanted to remind me to feel sad about my failed relationship. Upon arriving at the airport, I unexpectedly ran into Alex's assistant. Luckily, Alex wasn't in sight. As I was about to slip away, the assistant spotted me from a distance. "Michelle, what a coincidence. Are you here to see the boss off?" Hearing that made me wonder, does the assistant not know about my situation with Alex? Perhaps Alex was so swamped that he hadn't informed his assistant about our divorce yet. In this moment, I didn't want to explain anything. I quietly changed the subject. "No, I'm actually here for the website's anniversary celebration." The assistant's eyes lit up with understanding. "Oh, I know. The other day, the boss was looking at your book on the website's homepage. I had no idea you were so talented. Generally, the chances of winning awards at these events are pretty high." It wasn't surprising that Alex discovered that since I often used his computer to log into my author page. I thanked him politely. "I appreciate the kind words." I glanced at my watch and said my goodbyes. "I need to go to the gate now. Let's catch up later if we can." The assistant tugged at my suitcase. "The boss is on his way. He'll be here soon. Aren't you going to wait to see him? It's really crazy he's been working non-stop like a machine, not taking a break at all. He's even overseeing small details like packaging himself, which is a nightmare for me. His girlfriend hasn't seen him in a while, and has already fought with me about it several times. That's Alex's fault. He shouldn't drag others into his personal mess. But what right did I have to say anything?" I forced a smile, knowing it wouldn't be long before the assistant would find out about our divorce. "I can't wait. My flight is taking off soon." The website's anniversary event was like a big real-life fan meetup. All these introverted authors coming together, shaking hands, hugging, and making polite small talk. It was a bit overwhelming for me. My editor, Julia, sprinted toward me from the other end of the venue in her 10-centimeter heels and gave me a big hug. "Michelle, I finally get to meet you in person. You're even prettier than in photos a million times over." Julia had been my editor since I first joined the site, and we were the same age. Though we'd never met before, she'd been there through many key moments in my career, so there wasn't any awkwardness at all. Her compliments made me feel over the moon, and I pretended to blush. "Thanks for the kind words," knowing I wasn't a natural at socializing. Julia held my hand and started introducing me to the other authors. She led me over to a tall, handsome guy. "Michelle, meet Ethan. He's one of our male authors and my other money-making star." Oh wow, Ethan was gorgeous. If he posted a picture on social media, his female fans would totally swoon. Despite his success and fame, he didn't have an ounce of arrogance about him. He gave a shy smile. "Nice to meet you, Michelle. I've heard a lot about you from Julia." Julia nudged me with a mischievous grin and whispered, "Ethan's still in college. He's 3 years younger than us." I nodded. "He's really impressive." Julia leaned in conspiratorially. "I know you've been having a rough time lately. How about I introduce him to help you get a little romantic luck back? He's been dying to meet you, you know." I rolled my eyes. "Stop it. You're making me sound like a cougar. He's so much younger than me, and he hasn't even graduated yet." She laughed. "Come on, you've heard the saying. An older woman and a younger man are the perfect match." I gave her a blank stare. "Forget it. I need some time to recover from my last heartbreak." But it didn't seem like she was listening to that. Julia had been in the publishing scene for years, practically since middle school, and had worked her way up. She was now managing over 20 high-profile authors, including at least 10 attending today's event. The seating was arranged by editor, and she'd even thoughtfully put Ethan and me next to each other. He was definitely nice to look at, but unfortunately, my mind was still occupied with thoughts of Alex. Whenever Ethan spoke to me, his voice was soft and friendly, like the perfect boy next door. Being young and talented, he probably had plenty of admirers at school. Noticing my low spirits, Ethan kept trying to cheer me up with funny observations. "Sis, look at that book cover on stage. Doesn't it look like they just threw a burlap sack over the character? Sis, the author giving the speech looks so nervous his legs are shaking. And that spotlight when the characters enter, it looks like a disco party." His light-hearted comments helped lift my mood a little, and I began to chat with him, even if only here and there. My name appeared on the big screen, and the host, with great enthusiasm, announced, "Let's give a warm round of applause to welcome the winner of the Most Popular Work Award, Michelle." Lights and cameras swung my way, catching even Ethan sitting beside me. I lifted my dress elegantly, stepping onto the stage. That year of marriage with Alex had taught me a lot. Thanks to all the events he took me to, I could now walk through a crowd's gaze with composure. Watching my image appear on the big screen, as I approached the podium, was oddly captivating. Carefully accepting the trophy from the host, I delivered the acceptance speech I'd memorized down to the last word. Applause roared through the audience. The host then teased, "Your novel, Summertime, has touched so many readers' hearts. Many fans have left comments saying they wish the male lead could come to life. Did you have someone specific in mind when you created such a beloved character?" Her question caught me off guard, and I almost dropped the microphone. Alex's face came to mind, clear as day. Was it just wishful thinking, or was that really him out there in the crowd? Seconds ticked by as I stammered out, "Yes, well, if you look closely, you'll find there are plenty of good men out there, just like my protagonist Adam. All it takes is an open heart to appreciate every relationship." The host, unsatisfied with my vague answer, pressed further with a smile. "I noticed you mentioned in a fan comment that the male lead was inspired by your husband. Your husband must be very loving. Would you mind sharing a little about him?" Her casual remark hit like a dart to the heart. A sharp pain rose up, and my hand holding the microphone tensed, faint blue veins appearing. Taking a deep breath, I finally replied, "No. It was a joke with my readers. Adam's purely a character from my own imagination. The host seemed to notice my discomfort and smoothly changed the subject, letting me leave the stage without further questions. I felt shaken as I walked back to my seat. I accidentally stepped on my dress's hem, stumbling forward. But Ethan quickly stood and caught my arm. "Are you okay?" he asked. I shook my head and looked up only to meet Alex's gaze across the crowd. It wasn't my imagination. He was really there. My breath hitched. Even among a sea of people, Alex always had a way of standing out, a unique presence that made him seem detached from everyone else. Shouldn't he be away on business? What was he doing here? I didn't have time to think about his reasons. My heart was in turmoil, painful and erratic. The tears I'd held back unexpectedly began to fall. Ethan noticed and looked in the same direction, not seeing anything unusual. He took off his tie and handed it to me, concerned. "Are you okay? Did you hurt yourself when you tripped?" I shook my head, managing to regain control and sit down. I dared not look back, yet I felt his gaze still on me, a prickling discomfort. Instead of using Ethan's tie to wipe my tears, I folded it neatly and returned it to him. His cheeks flushed slightly as he said, "Michelle, I'm not good with ties, and I'll be on stage soon. Could you help me?" His request was genuine and simple, so I helped him out, patiently adjusting his tie, a gesture I'd repeated countless times on Alex. "Thank you," he said, giving a sweet smile. I remained distracted for the rest of the ceremony, counting down the minutes. Finally, the event concluded with a final speech from the website's CEO. Staff guided us to the next venue for the evening's banquet, and transportation was arranged, which was a nice touch. As I followed the staff outside, we headed directly toward Alex's position. The crowd was thick, yet Alex's figure stood out effortlessly. Sitting calmly with his jacket unbuttoned, he looked strikingly relaxed. The CEO saw him from afar, grinning as he approached. "Mr. Alex, what a pleasant surprise. Your assistant turned down our invitation, so I thought you wouldn't come. And why are you sitting in the back row? We haven't greeted you properly. You're an honored guest here." Alex rose to greet him, exchanging pleasantries. I blocked out all other sounds. I couldn't hear the conversations and laughter around me, only the familiar tone of Alex's voice, calm and distinct. "I'm just here to watch, no need for formalities." He exchanged polite words skillfully, his natural grace unmistakable. I trailed behind, moving slowly, all my attention focused on Alex. I was nearly the last one to step outside. The transport vehicle seemed already packed to capacity. The website CEO walked beside Alex, enthusiastically discussing the company's future. Alex kept his expression composed, appearing to listen intently, but I knew him too well. That slightly relaxed look meant he was only half listening, just being courteous. A staff member rushed over, clearly worried. "Sir, there was a miscount. The car's full, and we still have a few authors left to accommodate." Of course, I was among those left. Ethan somehow had also ended up behind, moving at the same unhurried pace. The CEO glanced back at us, waved confidently, and said, "No problem, they can ride with me." The secretary chimed in, "Sir, there's still an issue. We've got 2 editors from out of town also riding with you. We're still 1 seat short." Ethan pulled out his car keys with a shrug. "No worries. I drove here myself." He looked over at me. "Sis, want to come with me?" It seemed like the best option, and I was about to agree when Alex's steady voice cut in. "Ride with me, Michelle." He'd called me by name, clear as day. Alex always arranged for his own transportation wherever he traveled. It didn't surprise me that he had a car here too, but I didn't expect him to specifically ask me to ride with him. Weren't we supposed to be divorcing? Could he have brought the papers along, looking for a private moment to have me sign them? With that in mind, I didn't object. Sensing the tension, the CEO quickly stepped in to break the awkwardness, warmly taking Ethan's hand. "The city gets congested easily. It'd be better for you to stick with my car, so no one gets left behind." And so, I ended up with Alex. Before I could choose where to sit, Alex stepped forward courteously, opening the passenger door for me. The space inside the car felt closer than usual. I'd sat here countless times before, yet this time, it felt strangely tense. Silence stretched out until, finally, Alex spoke first, breaking the quiet with a question that only added to the tension. Did you move out? Wasn't that obvious? I fidgeted with my fingers, opting to get to the point. Did you come to give me the divorce papers? He replied in a calm tone. Let's find somewhere to park. I think we need to talk. Did it really need to be that complicated? It wasn't as if I was going to take any of his assets. Regardless, safety first. Alex pulled into a nearby parking lot, rolling down his window. Mind if I smoke? No. Alex rarely smoked. He would only light up during bouts of insomnia or extreme stress, and most of the time he avoided it. But the faint smell of tobacco around him told me he'd been smoking more recently. Have you been smoking a lot lately? Yes. More than before. Instinctively, I asked, are you stressed out? Alex answered bluntly, yes, very. Is it because your new project hasn't been finalized yet? No, it's not work-related. In my memory, Alex always handled everything with ease. What could trouble him if not work? I couldn't hide my surprise, which must have shown on my face. He flicked his cigarette ash, then stubbed it out between his fingers. Without any warning, he turned to me and said, I don't want a divorce. My shoulders shook, and for a moment I froze, completely thrown by his words. His voice was slightly husky from the cigarette smoke. I haven't been sleeping well. Lately, I've been waking up feeling strangely detached from my own life. Ever since I met you, it's like I've been acting out of character. Sometimes, I don't even know why I say or do certain things. It feels almost like split personalities. I'm sorry if I hurt you recently. I clenched my fists, realizing that even though I was the one at fault, he was the one apologizing. The split personality feeling he described it was the system's doing. Forcing a smile, I replied, well, congratulations on reconnecting with your true self. What's keeping you up at night, though? Alex seemed deep in thought. I didn't know how to face you lately. My actions over the past year haven't felt like me. All those strange things I did, they've left me questioning my feelings. But when you brought up divorce, it felt like a stab to the heart. Unknowingly, you've changed so much about me, left such a deep mark. I felt my lashes quiver, suddenly overcome by nerves. Finally, I let myself ask the question I'd wanted to for so long. Alex, do you care about me now? It seemed like a difficult question for him. He frowned, thinking carefully, then finally answered, I wouldn't call it just liking. When you joked on stage that the male lead was based on me, I wanted to grab the mic and announce you're my wife. And that author beside you made me feel an intense need to protect what's mine. When you moved out, I couldn't even go home. If I must answer, I'd rather call it love. The tension that had been building in me finally burst. Tears welled up as I threw myself into Alex's arms, crying so hard that his shirt was soaked. You were so distant lately. I thought you didn't love me anymore. It took all my courage to bring up divorce calmly. The Alex I knew was steady, never one to be overly expressive. He clearly wasn't used to my sudden closeness, and I felt his body tense, but he still wrapped his arm around me, gently patting my back. The joy of having him back made me cry harder. Alex sighed. It's my fault, but I never once considered divorce. So, will you come back to me? My voice was muffled with emotion. I'm here in your arms. What do you think? So did you come to the ceremony because the CEO invited you? Or was it because of me? Alex ruffled my hair. That initial electronic invite? My assistant declined it ages ago. I cupped his face and kissed him, tasting the salty tang of tears. Alex, I missed you so much. I couldn't think of any other way to express my feelings. Just as I was about to pull away, he placed his hand on the back of my head, deepening the kiss. Breathless, he said, now that's a proper kiss. Even the most reserved man can't escape instinct. With our reconciliation, we both felt complete. Alex started the engine. Let's go. I'll take you back to the banquet. I shook my head, putting my hand over his. No, Alex, let's elope. Whether it's a boulevard or a quiet street, I just want to be with him. All right. Just then Julia texted me. Where are you? The editors next door were talking about you, saying you're an incredible, versatile writer, urging me to get you started on a new romance. Haha. But I told them you're switching genres to write about a strong career woman. They were so disappointed. My fingers flew over the screen. Well, you can give them hope again. My love life is back on. I'll keep writing romance. With Alex by my side, inspiration is right here. When we got home, Alex told me he'd never divorce me. His face was serious, but his words were genuine. It was him, the real Alex, who cared about me, though he still sometimes had trouble settling into his role. Until one day, after a social gathering, he came home slightly drunk, clinging to me and refusing to let go. He was back to his affectionate self from before. Baby, I really love you. I mean it. I've never felt like this before. Let's make it official. I want the whole world to know I'm your Alex. He grabbed my phone and posted it himself. Alex was so adorable. With his permission, I recorded the whole thing. The next morning, I showed him the video. That's not me. He frowned, denying it. This is you. I recorded it. Is there another Alex? I couldn't help but laugh. He took a deep breath, gritting his teeth. No. Do you love me? Yes. He pulled me close. And just like that, Alex was back to the man who couldn't let go of me. This is the real me, Michelle. I love you. I love you too, Alex. How wonderful to know that even without the system's influence, he still loves me.